It is.
Just on
It
the,
is.
sort of the numbers of folks that are affiliated with these groups, as a researcher, it's very hard to get a
I'm sure.
handle on because it's so fluid, right? A militia could be being in a Telegram group or a group that's organized on Parler or Signal or whatever platform they're on. Now it may be, sharing
Discord.
memes, or that might escalate to taking a weekend trip to doing some shooting right out in the countryside. And then from there, it's, you get into the kind of activities that John was talking about, where you protect local businesses or, appear at a polling center to make sure that ballot fraud doesn't happen. There was a wonderful investigation in ProPublica recently about a militia called A3P, which really emerged as you see these dynamics at work because prosecutors in DC were going after the Proud Boys and the Three Percenters. A3P was less involved in January 6th, but saw January 6th as a recruiting opportunity. And they seem to be, concentrated in the Midwest and out west. And as it becomes more legally dangerous to be a card-carrying member of the Proud Boys, A3P's membership surges. And at the same time, Facebook stops enforcing its rules on organizing violence through the platform. And so I don't recall the numbers that they had in the piece, but it was somewhere in the thousands of members at one point in recent years. And, what's difficult is that, it's kind of like an election. You don't really know how many committed folks there are until Trump does something like call for a rally at the Ellipse. And then you have a showdown moment. And so a lot of the work that we're doing in the book is saying, look, this is, for worse, part of our politics now. And DOJ needs to be prepared to respond to it. State police forces need to be prepared to respond to it. Sort of nonpartisan election protection lawyers need to be prepared to respond to it.
At scale.
Right. I mean, put yourself back, into the mindset of January 5th, 2021. We all had sort of some idea that something stupid was going to happen, but I don't think any of us expected, the mob to breach or if people were smarter than me, if they were expecting it, the mob to breach the Capitol and for Capitol police officers to be killed. And so, sort of the struggle as folks committed to the rule of law is, how do you build institutions that can very quickly scale up in response to these kinds of threats, while acknowledging that, there's sort of a hot or cold aspect to it, right? People get really fired up and, will attempt to storm the state house. But other times, it just turns out to be online chatter and they go away and everything proceeds as normal.